Welcome, dear listeners. You're lying softly in bed now, maybe on your back or curled in a favourite position, breathing slowly and deeply. Allow each breath to drift in through your nose and out through your mouth. Imagine each exhale releasing tension from your body and mind. Let a soft breeze play across your skin, the rustle of leaves overhead. A hearth crackling gently in the distance. Feel the warmth and safety around you as your body becomes heavy and calm. Our story today begins at a wide field in rural China in 1958, where golden stalks of grain sway in harmony with the wind. The sun is just rising, casting long pink and amber shadows. Across collective fields where peasants gather in gentle rows, they plant seeds with hopeful hands under the banner of transformation, under the promise of new steel and new yield. You may find your body relaxing deeper still with each image of calm skies and rustling crops. Each inhale fills you with peace. Each exhale releases any little worries. This campaign, known as the Great Leap Forward, was launched by Mao Zedong in 1958 with the hope of transforming an agrarian nation into an industrial powerhouse by 1962. Association for Asian Studies +1 Kiddle +1. The plan involved creating large people's communes where farming was collectivized and where both agriculture and industry would rise together. Hand in hand, ChinesePosters.net +1. AAST.org+1. Feel your eyelids growing heavier now as you imagine gentle rivers irrigating fields under communal care, under optimistic leadership. Villagers were encouraged to build backyard furnaces, to melt down pots, pans, even door handles to meet enormous steel production quotas. But much of what they produced was low-quality pig iron, too brittle to use Kiddle +4 Wikipedia +4 Investopedia +4. Yet the hope in the air stayed bright like embers glowing softly in twilight. Now drift deeper. Imagine children playing at the edge of fields while elders tend the hearth of the courtyard. Feel that soft crackle and warmth in the air as the day begins. But beneath this gentle imagery there was growing strain, the burdens of impossible quotas, the over-reporting of harvests and the diversion of precious labour into steel production left less hands in the field bill's rising tension across the land. Between 1959 and 1961, a catastrophic famine took hold. Historian estimates vary between 15 million and upwards of 30 to 45 million deaths. Famine here was one of the deadliest non-war disasters in human history. Wikipedia +12 YouTube.com +12 YouTube. Com +12. Inhaling. Now. Breathe in compassion, exhaling sorrow. Imagine the face of someone starving, yet picture now a breeze carrying away suffering across time. The so-called Four Pests campaign waged war on sparrows, flies, rats, mosquitoes by banging pots, pans and drums to scare sparrows away. Tragically, the ecological balance collapsed. Insect populations skyrocketed. Locusts devoured more crops, worsening the famine. Wikipedia +3. Wikipedia +3 New Yorker.com +3. Yet right now in your mind you gaze on empty fields turning golden again as a hopeful breeze flows through them. In the summer of 1959 at the Lushan Conference, political tensions rose when Defense Minister Peng Dehui criticized the policies Mao had pursued. His dissent led to political purge and reaffirmation of radical Great Leap policies. Wikipedia +3 Chinese posters. Net +3. And though many inside and outside saw the suffering the leadership pressed on through early 1961, your mind drifts now to silent meeting rooms cloaked in mist, high in the mountains where decisions echo across time while your body sinks further into softness. By early 1961, the leadership began to retreat from extreme policies. Reforms, led by Liu Shaoqi, Deng Xiaoping and others, restored household farming responsibility, private pits and decentralized distribution. Wikipedia +1 ChinesePosters.net +1. As you breathe, imagine a turn in the wind, the first signs of survival and change a warming hearth seen beyond hardship. Throughout this period, propaganda posters proclaimed abundant smiles, abundant harvest slogans shouted, "Long live communes, long live the leap, long live steel and grain." Yet behind those images, Fields lay bare lives, shattered, and empty stomachs undernoticed by distant committees, Chinese posters, netebsco.com. Now, as the final embers of the day fade, inhale, calm, exhale, release. Imagine a single leaf drifting lazily from a tree onto still water. This tale is heavy in loss, yet light in tone, for tonight we observe the contrast, the rhythm of tragedy paired with imagery of breeze, rustle hearth, crackle to lull your awareness to sleep as you rest your head soft and calm. You drift into remembrance, yet drift into rest. Allow the numbers to fall away. Imagine each statistic as grains of sand slipping through a gentle hourglass. Feel the endless passing of time, yet find peace in final release of breath. Rest now in softness. Your body is calm, your mind is quiet. The wind whispers through a bamboo grove near a distant village. Memory of a once vibrant harvest felt now in dreams. The fields sway gently under moonlight, each stalk telling haunted stories of hope and ruin, yet releasing you into restful slumber. The year is now 1960 in a rural province where silence hangs thick over the fields. Once vibrant, now barren villagers have already melted their tools for steel that no one can use. They dig into hard earth with bare hands or makeshift wood. The sun rises thin and pale over the communes, yet still there is hope in the air, because people must hope it is how they survive. Breathe deeply now through your nose, let the air swirl in your lungs, then exhale gently as though blowing on hot tea. Feel the warmth in your chest, the heaviness in your arms. Imagine you are drifting through a quiet village. Dust in the air, a single rooster calling across the rooftops. Propaganda teams roam the countryside, they paint walls, they sing songs, they stage performances, promising that the nation is advancing into a glorious new era, while behind them kitchens lie empty, stomachs are twisted in hunger, and families quietly boil tree bark or wild roots to feed small children. Asia, Nikkei.com. But here in this story, your eyes are soft, your limbs are still. You're not there. You're simply listening, safe, calm, drifting. One of the most haunting aspects of The Great Leap Forward was the silence. Not the silence of peace, but the silence of fear. No one dared report the truth. No one could say this is not working. They feared what came next. Re-education, exile, execution, accusations of being counter-revolutionary. Even natural disasters were sometimes labelled as sabotage by bad-class elements. Breathe in that notion, breathe it out like dust through your fingertips. Gone. Now we shift softly to Henan province, where lush fields once grew sweet corn and golden millet. The people had high hopes when the communes first began. Posters with smiling farmers adorned village halls promising steel surpluses and rice bowls filled with bounty, but soon reports were falsified. One county claimed yields of £60,000 per acre. In truth, there was barely enough to scrape by. Britannica.com. Workers from Beijing visited in confusion, smiling outwardly, reporting back nothing true, afraid to challenge the illusion. Now picture a stream running along the edge of this village. Listen to the sound of the water over stones, your toes dipping in cool flow. This is a moment outside time, outside history, where you simply drift and witness like a breeze passing through the trees. Mao believed that ideology could overcome nature, that thought itself could replace planning. He once said, "A revolution is not a dinner party," and in the same breath insisted that wind and thunder and sun and drought would yield before the determination of the people. And yet nature is not ideological, and the land responded as land does, with drought, with flood, with silent consequence. By late 1960, food shortages grew critical. Still, local officials feared reporting the truth, so grain continued to be shipped to cities and foreign allies. The countryside was left with less than subsistence. What little remained was hidden in walls, under floorboards hoarded in silence. foreignaffairs.com. You may imagine now a small home where a mother feeds her child a boiled leaf slice by slice, while humming a lullaby beneath the sound of the wind. Drift gently with this lullaby, let your body grow heavier. Let the hush settle across your shoulders, the muscles in your face soft, your breathing a little slower. Now, maybe your eyes are already closed if they are. Let them stay closed, let this story float past them like images in a dream. Now we sail into 1961 after nearly 3 years of famine. A soft reversal begins behind closed doors. Party leaders meet to reconsider. They call it readjustment, not retreat. They reintroduce family plots. Let households keep some grain for themselves. Quietly reforms begin to unfold, though. No one admits failure out loud, not yet. The 7,000 Cadres Conference is held where local leaders express frustration, exhaustion, even fear, but still carefully within lines drawn by the party. Mao listens, but steps back, letting others quietly take the reins. Liu Shaoqi becomes head of state and alongside Deng Xiaoping begins to repair what has broken piece by quiet piece. In wikipedia.org. Let that idea drift across your mind, a quiet repair, not loud or sudden, but gentle small policies that bring back chickens to courtyards, children to classrooms, bowls to tables very slowly. The famine's toll will never be fully known. Records were hidden numbers, disguised rural death, registers incomplete or missing entirely, but even conservative estimates place the dead in the tens of millions. And yet this story is not only of death, it is also of survival, of memory, of the enduring spirit of people who lived through it, people who cooked from nothing, who shared boiled bark with neighbours, who buried their elders with trembling dignity. Now drift again to a quiet village in Sichuan province. The fields are beginning to green once more, and while loss hangs over the land like a thin fog, children's laughter returns. It bubbles up from the wells, the pathways, the morning songs of old women sweeping courtyards clean. You are drifting just above this village like a wisp of cloud. No body, only breath, light and warm in the summer. Wind, you see a family sitting for their first harvest meal in years. A bowl of millet, a handful of cucumbers, a smile between a father and daughter. The future is still uncertain, but life persists. You too persist. Your breath steady, your limbs soft, your thoughts no longer loud or sharp, only gentle flowing sensations. The words I speak becoming fewer now, not because there is less to say, but because your body knows when to listen and when to let go. As we end this part of the story, remember the quiet fields, the soft wind, the lullabies beneath the sound of fear. Remember too that history teaches, but it also sings, it hums through time and across silence, and it carries lessons tucked inside dreams. It is now late 1961. The air over Beijing is crisp with autumn leaves and the smell of coal smoke from village chimneys. Policies have shifted ever so slightly. More autonomy granted to local communes, smaller fields returning. To household management incentives introduced for personal yield. The slogans are quieter now, the parades less frequent. Many statues remain unmoved, but behind their cold smiles changes stir. You may now drift to a stone bridge over a quiet river, where an old woman washes turnips and leeks in the flow, her hands red from cold water, her mind on the planting season ahead. Nearby children chase a chicken through damp fields and the sun glints off the surface of the water like tiny mirrors of a brighter day. The famine does not end in a single day or with a single speech. It fades slowly like night, releasing its grip from the edge of morning. In 1962, a small but vital increase in food availability brings colour back to cheeks. A few more lanterns hung at Spring Festival, a few more bowls filled without guilt. Still, Mao watches from a distance, his influence undiminished, but his role shifted from active reformer to looming shadow. He blames the famine not on planning but on natural disasters or sabotage from hidden enemies, and in many official histories that is the story told. Let yourself picture an office filled with red books, a dusty file cabinet, a single photograph on the desk, a young leader's face smiling at the future that would never arrive behind him, shelves of data edited, modified, controlled so the world would remember differently. But this story you hear now is not edited. It drifts like smoke from the kitchen fires, it smells of millet, porridge and boiled greens and ash, and it whispers truth between words softly as you sleep. Breathe in, again through your nose, feel your chest rise, feel your belly soften. Exhale, like you're releasing a memory no longer yours, perhaps one your ancestors once held, or one the earth itself carries in songs. As China moved into 1963 and 64, the party encouraged the rebuilding of grain storage, the repair of irrigation canals, the cautious regrowth of rural trust in governance, yet the scars of the leap remained visible in empty homes, abandoned communes, the haunting cadence that remained around dinner tables where voices had once been more. In schoolrooms, history was rewritten to praise the heroic sacrifices of the people, to praise resilience, without naming grief to honour struggle, without naming its source, and so generations would grow up learning a version of events far more sterile than the lived experience. Let this quiet you, rather than stir you the idea that even memory can be made soft the way parchment yellows with time, the way old fabric fades, the way dreams lose their edges as morning approaches. Your breath is slow and rhythmic now, like waves brushing a quiet beach, your limbs almost forgotten. In the calm of this space, your awareness no longer tethered, only lightly floating. We now drift gently into a village in Guizhou province where the harvest festival returns after 5 years of absence. The drums are not as loud, the dances are shorter, but the people gather again for the first time since the beginning of the Great Leap. Forward, there is cautious laughter, there is remembrance woven into every song. An elder sits near the fire telling a child a story. Not this one, but a simpler one of fish that turned into birds and flew to the moon. She hands the child a roasted yam wrapped in cloth. The child eats slowly, reverently, savouring every bite. And that is what remains, not the slogans or policies or speeches, but small quiet gestures, a hand feeding another. A song passed on across generations, a memory carried not in books but in breath. Let yourself breathe with that rhythm, the rhythm of legacy, not written but lived, not shouted but whispered, not assigned but inherited like wind in leaves, like hush in snowfall, like a lullaby sung in a language only your heart can understand. From 1965 onward, China shifts again toward the Cultural Revolution, but that is another tale for another night, one woven with different textures, sharper lines and brighter fire. But for now, we stay in this softer space, the space of aftermath, where silence begins to heal, and memory is passed like a bowl from one hand to the next. In this story, what they didn't tell you about the Great Leap Forward is not just the statistics, not just the outcomes or plans. What they didn't tell you is the sound, the silence, the way time stretches in a village with no grain, the way a mother's heart breaks without a cry, the way resilience looks not like triumph but survival. Even now in some parts of China, the old people remember not in public, not loudly, but in the way they plant their gardens, in the way they never waste food, in the way they hold their grandchildren a little tighter when no one is watching. Let your heart rest in that image, an old man handing a child a warm steamed bun, split down the middle to share, both smiling, both still here because of survival, because of care. And as your body becomes heavier again like dusk settling across a quiet village, remember that stories carry us across time, across pain, across the long night to where morning waits. Your breath is steady, your eyes soft, your thoughts slow like a river under ice. Nothing rushed, nothing forced, all is well in this space, in this moment. We are now in the early years after the famine, 1965 and beyond, but the air is still thick with memory. Though crops begin to grow again, though the bowls begin to fill, the past is never far behind. It lingers in glances and caution in the space between words. In some places, families who had survived were now only half of what they once were, the other half left behind in nameless graves or hidden among the rice paddies, where no markers were placed, where no prayers were said aloud for fear of attracting questions. And in official publications, the Great Leap Forward is still described as a success, as a bold move misunderstood by natural disasters and foreign enemies. In school, children recite slogans and songs, none of them mentioning the hunger, none of them mentioning what was lost, only what was achieved or what was expected to be. But there are other forms of memory now, forms that drift across time and through silence. An old woman washing rice slowly at the edge of a courtyard, pouring a little extra into her neighbour's basket without a word. A man who once melted his cooking pots, now crafting a new ladle from wood, polished with care, as though apologising to his own past. These images are soft and clear, like smoke rising, straight into cold morning air. No bitterness, only reflection, only breath. Take a breath now in through your nose, long and easy out through your mouth, feel it. Leave your chest like mist dissolving into the sky. Feel the quiet settle again, the way dew settles on bamboo leaves. In many villages, the propaganda paintings have faded, but they are not scraped away. They remain as part of the walls themselves, chipped. Smiling farmers holding up ears of corn as large as their heads, steel flowing from backyard furnaces in a brilliant silver arc. No one believes the images anymore, but no one removes them either. They are part of the story like a scar on the landscape. And so life resumes. In 1966, the Cultural Revolution begins. Mao returns to the centre of power with renewed energy. urging a new revolution against what he calls bourgeois elements inside the party, a new campaign to purify thought to rekindle revolutionary fire. But for those who lived through the Great Leap, there is a different kind of silence this time, a deeper wariness, a knowledge that slogans come and go, but the hunger they bring stays much longer. Now feel yourself walking through an old alley, red paper slogans fluttering gently in the wind pasted onto stone walls like leaves pressed against bark, their words bold but their paper worn thin by rain and time. A grandmother pulls a small boy closer to her side as a group of young Red Guards passes by their armbands. Bright, their voices loud, she smiles and nods but says nothing. Her hand is tight around his shoulder until they pass, then loose again like a breath exhaled. This is a different story than the one she tells him at bedtime. Hers has no slogans, no battles, just a tree that bore fruit after 3 years of waiting. A neighbour who saved a bowl of soup for someone else. A husband who did not return from the mountains, but who visits her, sometimes in dreams. Let your body feel that warmth now, the heat of a story told not in words but in glances, in gestures, in the soft crackle of a fire that keeps burning night after night, because someone keeps feeding it little by little with the dry sticks of memory. Mao remains in power until his death in 1976, and for many years after the Great Leap Forward is still a quiet phrase barely whispered, often left out of history books or remembered only in numbers, never in names, never in tears. But the land remembers the fields that stood empty, the rivers that dried the villages that burned extra incense during the spring festival, just for the unnamed, the unheard. And slowly, too, scholars begin to speak again. Researchers dig into local archives, foreign journalists publish accounts from survivors. Their words float up like lanterns released into a dark sky, bringing light into corners once closed. One such scholar is Yang Jisheng, a former Xinhua journalist who lost his father to the famine and who later wrote Tombstone, a monumental work chronicling the causes and consequences of the Great Leap Forward through thousands of first-hand accounts and datasets. He writes not in anger, but in grief, not in judgment, but in memory. He names what was long unnamed. Let this idea comfort you as you exhale slowly again, that the truth always finds its way through soil and stone, that memory does not die. Even when silenced, it waits like seeds buried deep, waiting for the right season to bloom. You are now walking through a garden where those seeds have bloomed, not in vengeance, not in sorrow, but in the quiet dignity of remembrance. The petals are soft, the colours warm, the breeze carries stories that never made it to the textbooks but live on in the way the earth breathes. Take another breath now, let it anchor you to the softness around you, to the gentleness of this moment. No need to carry the weight of the story all at once, just one breath at a time. In the years after Mao's death, Deng Xiaoping rises to power, and with him comes economic reform, a new openness, a new era, but never a direct reckoning. With the Great Leap Forward, the phrase is still avoided, its details still blurred. But in homes and kitchens, in the way rice is portioned, in the way old people wrap food for the young, even when there's plenty, there is an unspoken language of memory. The Great Leap is never entirely forgotten. It lives in these gestures, these instincts, these inherited silences. And maybe that's where the real history lives, not in books or slogans or monuments, but in the small acts of care that people carry forward. Your body is quiet now, your mind no longer reaching for answers, simply flowing like water, around stones, past fields and fences, through the fog of the past, into the gentle clearing of the present. And now I will pause once more to let you rest and breathe and sleep if that's where you're headed, or return when you're ready to walk again with me through this quiet remembering. We are now in the years after 1978. Deng Xiaoping has begun to reshape the nation. His focus is pragmatic. He speaks not of revolution, but of modernization. He opens China to the world, to markets, to investment, and to careful curated versions of the past. The Great Leap Forward is still not spoken of directly, not in the streets, not in schools, not in official ceremonies, but there are traces everywhere. In a southern village, a school teacher adds one more line to a history lesson that is supposed to end with the words agricultural reform succeeded. Instead, she writes with chalk that barely leaves a mark, many faced hardship during the early years. A student asks what kind of hardship she pauses, then says hunger. Her voice soft, her back turned to the class. She leaves it at that, and the room falls silent. Now drift with me into a kitchen, where an old man sharpens a cleaver on a stone while steam rises from a pot nearby. He isn't just cooking, he is remembering every cut of meat, every leaf of cabbage once rationed, once counted, once treasured. He tells his grandson never waste rice, and though the boy has never known hunger, he nods as if he understands, because the tone of that memory is clear, even if the words are not. Let that warmth settle over you now, like a quilt woven from family stories, from quiet truths, from the long, patient endurance of people who carried far more than they ever shared. In 1981, the Communist Party issues a rare document called the Resolution on Certain Questions in the History of Our Party. It quietly admits that mistakes were made during the Great Leap Forward, that economic planning had been unrealistic, but it avoids naming the famine. It avoids saying how many lives were lost. It is a whisper of accountability, not a confession. Source: PRC Central Committee Resolution 1981. And yet for many this small recognition is enough to let them speak not in public perhaps, but to their children, to their neighbours, to historians brave enough to ask. Yang Zhisheng's tombstone is one result of this opening. Though unofficial, it becomes a work of deep remembrance, one that took years to write and years more to publish overseas. It gathers names, voices, testimonies from survivors. It names the famine not as natural, but as man-made. Let your breath follow that idea in slowly and out slowly. This was not nature's cruelty, but something shaped by hands and ideas and fear and silence, and then remembered by love. Now you are walking through a library, maybe one in Beijing, or one hidden in the back of a dusty village school. The shelves are filled with bound volumes, red spines, white labels, numbers, that catalogue decades and events. But somewhere near the bottom, behind an unlabelled box, is a small handwritten diary wrapped in cloth. It holds one woman's record of the famine year by year, season by season, her script tiny and precise, not bitter, not loud, simply there, a record not to accuse but to remember, because she believed someone someday would want to know. And you are that someone, or someone like you, someone listening, breathing, dreaming, knowing now that history is not always written in ink. Sometimes it's written in hunger, in care, in lullabies that never stop being sung. Breathe again, feel your chest expand and soften, like rice soaking in warm water. Feel how still the room is, how deep this quiet goes. There are now scholars inside and outside of China working to piece together the scale of the famine. Historians like Frank Dicutter use local records released during moments of brief openness to reconstruct what was hidden. He estimates that over 45 million people may have died, not only from starvation, but also from violence, from forced labour, from punishment for speaking truth. This is not just a story of scarcity, but of suppression of control of what happens when belief in ideology outweighs belief in the individual. But let that knowledge not disturb you, instead let it deepen your stillness, because you are hearing it in a way meant not to shock, but to soothe, to honour, to recognise the lives behind the numbers, the children behind the crops, the families behind the fields. Imagine now a hillside where small white stones mark unnamed graves. A woman comes every spring to light incense and place a bowl of rice and a peach near the earth. She kneels and bows 3 times, then stays a while in silence. She does not need to say who she remembers. The land knows, the air knows. And in some way so do you, because remembrance is a quiet act, a private prayer, a long deep breath that carries memory across time. There are still echoes of the Great Leap today in the way older generations speak around the subject or turn off radios when certain documentaries air, or laugh too hard at food shows to cover a tremor in their voice. Yet food is now abundant. Markets are full, cities gleam, but the memory does not disappear. It waits patiently in the folds of old aprons, in the corners of storage rooms, in the half-smile of someone who once knew what it meant to go without. Now, drift back into that kitchen. The fire is lower. Now, the soup nearly done, the old man sits with his grandson sharing pickled vegetables from a small dish. He says, "When I was your age we ate bark," and then laughs, though it is not a joke. The boy laughs too, not to mock, but to show he hears, and then together they eat in silence, which is sometimes the most respectful kind of listening. Let that image carry you into rest, into the long hush between words, between generations, between histories that will one day be spoken again. And now we pause once more, feel your body resting, feel the warmth, return to your fingers, feel your thoughts grow soft and slow. We now move into the 90s and early 2000s, a time of rising cities, of markets buzzing, of bullet trains and glowing neon. Yet underneath the concrete and steel of China's economic miracle lie the quiet footprints of the Great Leap Forward, not erased, only buried. In a northern town where a steel mill once stood abandoned, furnaces remain rusted over. Now trees grow between them, vines wrapping around their mouths like nature trying to quiet. What once roared with fire, the villagers nearby do not speak of the years they fed these furnaces with their tools, their beds, their futures. Instead, they point to the forest growing and say only that time heals. Take a breath now and picture it, the forest soft and green, a breeze stirring its leaves, sunlight dappling the ground where iron once melted. Now moss grows thick and quiet over stone. In villages and cities alike, old habits from the famine years linger. Rice is never thrown away. Leftovers are carefully saved, shared, or reheated. Dumplings are made in batches and frozen, as if tomorrow might still arrive empty-handed. This isn't fear now, not exactly, it's memory turned into routine, a kind of inheritance passed on not through speech but through action. And even as the country grows outward, reaching into skyscrapers and satellites, many elders keep small gardens behind their homes, neat rows of scallions, garlic, mustard, greens. They say it's for flavour, for freshness, but deep down it's also for reassurance. The land once betrayed them, yet still they plant and still they grow. Now breathe into that thought, the strength of planting even after loss. Feel how deeply rooted survival can be, how soft it is, how steady. In 2008, a great earthquake strikes Sichuan province, buildings fall, lives are lost. And in the news coverage, a man is interviewed who survived both the earthquake and the Great Famine. He says he was a boy when the food disappeared, and that since then he always kept dried corn under his bed just in case. He doesn't cry, he doesn't raise his voice, he only looks into the camera and says softly, "You never forget what it's like to be that hungry." Let that line echo in your breath now, not as fear but as understanding, not as sorrow, but as truth whispered between the beats of your own heart. Later that same year, China experiences a growing wave of memoirs and personal essays published online, shared in forums, many written by grandchildren asking their grandparents what they lived through, and slowly more stories emerge. Stories of eating elm bark and cotton husks, of stealing a handful of grain, and being beaten, of mothers feeding their children and pretending they weren't hungry when they were near collapse of empty villages with no sound but wind. And yet those same stories also hold joy moments of shared boiled roots, moments where someone shared a single preserved egg with 5 people cutting it into thin slices, placed reverently on a bowl of plain porridge. Imagine yourself tasting that egg now, savouring it as if it were gold, each bite rich not in flavour but in meaning, in love. And now your breath grows deeper, your limbs warmer, you are resting in a quiet place where nothing is asked of you, only that you be present, only that you breathe. In 2010, an art exhibit in Beijing opens quietly. It features installations of empty bowls suspended from the ceiling, photos of abandoned commune kitchens, interviews, whispered from hidden speakers. Only those who lean in very close can hear them. One visitor stands under the bowls, closes her eyes and listens to the hush she later writes in the guest book. "My grandfather never spoke about those years, but tonight I think I heard him." Let that line stay with you a little while as you rest your body like a stone settling into sand, your thoughts like feathers drifting downward through gentle air. In another part of the country, a small museum is opened by private citizens dedicated to memory. It includes farming tools, family photos, ration books and journals collected from survivors of the Great Leap. Forward, it is not state-sponsored and does not appear in tourist guides, but it is always visited, flowers, always left outside candles burned in a circle of names. Some visitors cry, but many only walk slowly in silence, then leave carrying something intangible and lasting. Not quite sorrow, not quite knowledge, something softer, deeper. Breathe again out. Through your nose, let the air fill your ribs and exhale slowly, as if you were standing in that museum with your hand resting on a ration book worn with time. The Great Leap Forward shaped not just lives, but generations, behaviours, decisions, emotions passed on without context, like a song half remembered yet still sung. Young people today in China may not know the full history, but they know their grandparents' reverence for food, their parents' instinct to store and save and plan. They know the way family dinners stretch long into the evening with too much food, too many toasts and laughter that sometimes mask something quieter underneath. That too is legacy, and it lives in gestures, in habits, in the stories not told but felt. You are resting now fully deeply, no longer listening with the surface of your mind, but with something deeper, like listening to rain in a dream, like hearing your own heartbeat through soft fabric. Let this truth rest with you, that remembrance does not need to be loud, that mourning can be quiet, that honour can live in the way we care for each other, in the way we refuse to forget even what we were never told. And I will pause here again to give you space to dream, to drift, to breathe, to hold this gentle weight in your hands or let it float away like ash in the wind. It is the present day, somewhere between old cities and rising skylines, nestled among highways and high-speed rails, still lies the quiet of the countryside, and there in the hush between progress and tradition, memory continues to live, not in monuments, but in hands that till the earth, in eyes that carry generations of stories unspoken. In some villages, people speak of the Great Leap only in metaphor. They call it the years of dryness, or the cold stomach seasons, or simply before the peaches came back. They don't say death, they don't say famine. They say it in glances, in pauses, in the long breath before answering a child's question. And that too is story. Let your own breath become that kind of story now, wordless but rich, rising like a fog lifting over morning hills. Exhale it as you would a memory too large to name, yet too true to hide. Modern China has museums for emperors, for revolutions, for inventions, but few spaces for collective grief, few spaces to publicly honour the millions lost in those forgotten years. And so the grieving continues privately across dinner tables, and behind steamed windows in silent toasts and extra bowls left on altars. Even the very name of the campaign, The Great Leap Forward, contains a kind of irony, history's sharp echo in a title that promised flight but delivered fall, and yet the people lived, they endured. They carried forward, not with flags or slogans, but with rice seeds tucked into cloth pouches and strength stitched into silence. Let yourself drift with that image now, a grandmother tucking seeds into the corner of her blouse, while wind rustles through a thatched rooftop, while behind her the sky is too grey to speak of, but ahead of her a field waits with patience and soil. The internet in modern China is closely watched and curated, but still there are corners where stories are told. A grandson posts a thread about his grandfather's hunger, his disbelief at how little was left and how hard it was to say no when others begged for just one spoonful of porridge. The post is taken down within hours, but not before it is saved. Screenshot copied, passed quietly from person to person like a flame carried in cupped hands. It is not loud, but it is bright. Take a deep breath now and imagine that flame hovering softly near your chest, warming you but never burning, illuminating just enough to see where the path winds next. The younger generations grow up with more food than ever, with choices, luxuries, a fast pace of life, and yet some still carry dreams shaped by past hunger. Some feel inexplicable guilt when food is wasted. Some feel a sadness they cannot name when they hear the sound of wind rustling in dry cornfields. They are feeling echoes. It is said in Chinese that suffering carves deep vessels for understanding, and in this story those vessels are passed down like heirlooms, not made of gold or jade, but of memory and of empathy. In a Beijing bookstore, a writer hosts a reading of her novel based on village memories. It is not labelled as history, it is fiction. Yet everyone in the room knows it is also true. The faces in the book are named differently, but their eyes match the eyes in old family photographs on living room walls. An old man in the back of the room clutches a copy of the book with both hands and weeps without sound, then leaves before the event ends. No one stops him. No one needs to. Now breathe in again through your nose, deeply, gently. Let that image settle in your lungs and exhale, the way old paper curls in flame, quiet and complete. There is healing in knowing, in hearing, in naming. Even if official history books never fully admit the scope of the Great Leap Forward, even if no national memorial is ever built, the truth has already been carved into the air, into the soil, into every cautious gesture and grateful meal. It lives in lullabies sung a little too softly in bowls, filled a little too high in gardens, planted just in case. And now picture a single figure walking alone at dusk through a rice field, the sky overhead slowly turning, lavender clouds folding like blankets. The figure stops and kneels, pressing a palm into the soil, not to pray, not to search, only to remember. That memory is now yours too, passed softly between hands, between generations, between breath and nightfall. As your body grows heavier again and your thoughts drift toward rest, let yourself feel the peace of being a listener, of carrying truth with gentleness, not to argue, not to correct, only to know, only to honour. Because not all remembering needs to be loud. Some remembering is a kind of sleep itself, a settling of thoughts, a surrendering of forgetting. And so I will pause again here for you to rest, perhaps to dream of soft soil and warm kitchens and stories that survive even without pages. In the present day, there are efforts both quiet and brave to reclaim the history of the Great Leap Forward within China and beyond. Scholars, writers, artists, and descendants of survivors gather in small groups online and in private spaces to share stories, documents, and memories, fragile threads woven back into the fabric of a nation's understanding. Imagine one such gathering, a dimly lit room, the soft rustle of paper, the low murmur of voices recounting moments remembered with tenderness. An elderly woman gently unfolds a brittle letter written decades ago by her mother during the famine years. A letter never sent, filled with worries about children growing thinner by the day, about fields drying under relentless sun. The group listens in silence, honouring both pain and resilience, the echoes of survival carried in hushed tones. Now breathe in that room, the warmth, the quiet respect. Let it settle in your chest like a slow pulse of compassion. In art studios far from the crowded cities, painters and sculptors create works inspired by the famine years, not graphic or harsh, but subtle, evoking the fragility of life, the silent endurance of millions. One sculpture features empty bowls arranged in a circle, the rough texture of clay reminding viewers of the weight of absence. A soft light casts shadows that seem to flicker like candle flames. Imagine standing before that circle, your breath slowing as you contemplate the lives behind each bowl. The story of the Great Leap Forward is not only one of loss, but also of hope, of human spirit persisting against overwhelming odds. There are memoirs published abroad, translated into many languages, giving voice to those who were silenced for so long. These words ripple outward, touching hearts worldwide, connecting strangers through shared humanity. Let your breath carry those connections gently, weaving a web of understanding beyond borders and time, and as the night deepens around you, feel how these stories blend into the dark fabric of history like stars, small points of light, distant but steady. Allow your body to sink deeper into relaxation now, your limbs heavy and warm, your mind soft as dusk. The fields, the kitchens, the whispered memories, they all join you here in this peaceful moment. You are held by the weight of remembrance and the lightness of release. In recent years, the conversation around the Great Leap Forward has gently stirred beneath the surface, like the first buds of spring pushing through frozen soil. Younger generations, curious and compassionate, seek to understand the shadows in their family histories, piecing together fragments of stories told in whispers or remembered in silence. Imagine a teenager scrolling quietly through a digital archive, discovering photographs faded and worn, notes scribbled in margins, and interviews recorded on crackling tapes. Each discovery is a spark lighting a path toward understanding the complex tapestry of their heritage. In small cafes tucked away from the city's noise, these young seekers gather. They speak softly, sharing what they have found, their voices laced with reverence and a desire to honour those who endured hardship. Sometimes laughter bubbles up, a balm to the heaviness of the stories, reminding them that life persists and joy is never truly lost. Picture the warmth of that room, the mingling aromas of tea and aged paper, the gentle hum of voices blending with the rain tapping softly against the window pane. Breathe that atmosphere in and out, letting it fill you with quiet hope. Elsewhere, filmmakers craft documentaries that travel through hidden villages, capturing the weathered faces of survivors, their eyes pools of memories deep and wide. The camera lingers on hands folded in laps, on fields tilled by calloused fingers, on simple meals shared with unspoken gratitude. These films, though not always widely shown, ripple through communities, nurturing remembrance and compassion. They invite viewers to sit in stillness and bear witness, a silent ceremony of acknowledgement. Feel yourself sitting beside one of those storytellers now, their voice low and steady, carrying the weight of years, the softness of understanding. Your breath matches theirs, slow and steady, a bridge between past and present. In university halls and conference rooms, historians carefully pore over archives, slowly reconstructing the events and human experiences hidden in dusty files and faded reports. They debate and refine their understanding, aware that each fact uncovered is a step toward healing. Though political sensitivities remain, these academic journeys provide spaces where truth can be gently revealed, like morning light filtering through mist. Let that light warm your face as you imagine the patient work of unearthing memory. Communities affected by the Great Leap Forward continue to honour their ancestors in quiet ways, through rituals at family altars, through meals prepared with care, through stories passed at bedtime. These acts, humble and profound, keep the spirit of remembrance alive. Imagine a family gathered around a table laden with simple dishes, the laughter mingling with the clink of chopsticks. In the stories shared between bites, in the smiles exchanged, the past is carried forward not as burden but as legacy. Breathe deeply now, and let the gentle rhythm of that family meal soothe your mind and body, easing you further into calm. The echoes of the Great Leap Forward remind us that even in the face of unimaginable hardship, humanity endures. They teach us the power of memory, the resilience of spirit, and the importance of kindness. Now, as your breath flows soft and steady, let the story settle into your heart like a lullaby, a gentle pulse of remembrance that cradles you in peace. Rest here for a moment, embraced by the quiet, held in the warmth of history's soft light. Beyond the intimate family circles and quiet gatherings, the echoes of the Great Leap Forward ripple outward into art, literature, and culture, touching the lives of many who seek to understand and remember. In galleries tucked into narrow streets, exhibitions arise featuring paintings and installations inspired by the famine's shadow. One canvas depicts a simple cracked bowl resting on a woven mat, its emptiness more eloquent than words, a silent witness to hunger and hope. Visitors pause before the artwork, their breaths held in reverence, eyes tracing the lines and textures, feeling the unspoken stories embedded within the paint. Elsewhere, poets write verses that dance between sorrow and strength, weaving images of barren fields and tender hands planting seeds anew. Their words float like whispers on the wind, inviting listeners to enter a space of shared remembrance and quiet healing. Imagine hearing one such poem read aloud in a soft voice, each syllable a drop of rain nurturing parched earth. Your breath synchronizes with the cadence, slow and steady, filling your chest with calm. Across the world, universities and libraries collect testimonies and memoirs, safeguarding them like precious gems. These archives create bridges between past and future, reminding us that history is not only written in textbooks but in hearts and voices. Consider the care with which these stories are preserved. The gentle touch of fingers turning fragile pages, the quiet sighs accompanying each new discovery. Breathe in that tenderness and let it rest in your soul. In quiet corners of the internet, online forums and digital memorials form a mosaic of memories shared and cherished. Strangers connect across continents through shared heritage and stories passed down like family heirlooms. Here, the act of remembering is an embrace, a safe harbour where grief can be voiced and healing can begin. Imagine sitting among these voices, your own breathing weaving with theirs, a tapestry of compassion and understanding. Within homes, the legacy of the Great Leap Forward is often carried not in grand gestures, but in small daily acts, careful saving of food, rituals of gratitude, gardens nurtured with patience. These habits hold stories, passed down without words but felt deeply. Picture a quiet kitchen bathed in golden afternoon light, a grandmother stirring a pot of steaming rice, humming a melody learned long ago. Her hands move with gentle purpose, each motion a silent prayer, each meal a gesture of love. Feel the warmth of that kitchen, the comfort of shared history, the soothing rhythm of life carried on despite everything. The story of the Great Leap Forward is woven into the very fabric of countless lives. A story of suffering, yes, but also of endurance, courage, and the quiet power of memory. As you rest here, let your breath become a steady anchor, your body heavy and relaxed, your mind a calm sea beneath a night sky scattered with stars of remembrance. In this stillness may you find peace. In small towns across China, the past is often kept alive through stories told under starlit skies. Tales shared around flickering fires where the crackle of wood blends with hushed voices. These oral histories carry the texture of real life, the grit, the hope, the sorrow, the resilience. Imagine sitting cross-legged beside an elder, whose eyes reflect distant memories, their voice steady and low as they recount the days when fields lay barren, and the air was thick with uncertainty. The flickering firelight casts dancing shadows on their face, their stories folding gently into the night. As you listen, your breath deepens, matching the rhythm of their voice, slow and sure, grounding you in this shared human experience. Through the decades, families kept mementos, worn photographs, hand-stitched quilts, faded ration cards, each an anchor to a time of scarcity and strength. These objects are treasures, silent witnesses to endurance and love. Picture a weathered photo album resting on a wooden table, its pages yellowed with age, fingerprints marking the corners. As you turn each page in your mind, feel the weight of memory pressing softly against your heart, steady and warm. In urban centres, younger generations often feel a distance from this history, yet many seek connection. They visit ancestral villages, walk the fields where grandparents once toiled, and listen intently to stories passed down. These journeys are acts of reverence, bridges spanning past and present, healing wounds left unseen. Now breathe deeply and imagine yourself walking beside them, the earth soft beneath your feet, the breeze carrying whispers of long ago. Let your breath flow steady and calm, grounded in this moment. Outside the glare of public attention, small memorials and private shrines have been created. Simple spaces of remembrance adorned with candles, incense, and offerings. These quiet sanctuaries hold grief and gratitude, sorrow and hope in delicate balance. Visualize a circle of soft candlelight glowing gently in a darkened room, the air fragrant with sandalwood and jasmine. You sit among others in peaceful solidarity, your breath mingling with theirs, a shared heartbeat of remembrance. In academic circles, research continues to unravel the complex layers of this chapter in history. Scholars work with care and respect, piecing together narratives from fragmented archives, oral testimonies, and hidden documents. Their work is patient and meticulous, like tending a fragile garden, nurturing seeds of understanding that will bloom over time. Feel the slow unfolding of knowledge, the gentle growth of awareness, as your breath flows in harmony with this quiet discovery. The Great Leap Forward shaped more than just a moment in history. It shaped the ways families care for one another, the rhythms of daily life, and the tender habits of preservation and gratitude. Imagine a family gathering around a table filled with dishes prepared with care, each ingredient a silent homage to survival and abundance. The warmth of shared meals, the soft murmur of voices, the gentle clinking of chopsticks, these are acts of love carrying forward a legacy of endurance. Let your breath move with the softness of that scene, deepening into a calm, steady rhythm, your body sinking into rest. As night wraps its gentle arms around you, know that this story lives within you now, a quiet pulse of remembrance and peace. The Great Leap Forward's shadow stretches far and wide, touching lives in ways both seen and unseen. Though decades have passed, its echoes continue to ripple through time, subtle currents shaping memory, identity, and hope. In remote villages where the mountains meet the sky, the land remembers. Old stone walls and worn paths bear silent witness to those who lived through hunger and hardship. Each footstep on those paths carries stories whispered by the wind. Imagine walking softly along a narrow trail edged with wildflowers, the breeze stirring leaves in gentle murmurs. Your breath matches the rhythm of your steps, steady and calm, a quiet meditation on history's gentle pulse. Within homes, the past is honoured in simple rituals, a bowl of rice left untouched on the altar, a lantern lit in memory, a song sung softly at dusk. These acts hold sacred space for those who endured, bridging time with tenderness. Picture a room bathed in amber light, the soft glow reflecting on delicate porcelain cups filled with tea. The aroma rises, warm and soothing, mingling with the scent of aged paper from cherished books. Feel your breath deepen, inhaling the calm warmth, exhaling any lingering tension, letting your body grow heavy and still. Across generations, stories have been carried with care, sometimes shared openly, sometimes kept close to the heart. In quiet moments, a parent might recount memories to a child, weaving lessons of resilience and kindness through gentle words. Imagine a parent's voice, soft and steady, the cadence of a lullaby blending with tales of survival. Your breath slows to match the rhythm, your mind drifting peacefully on waves of comfort and connection. In academic circles around the world, research continues to bring new understanding to this chapter of history. Scholars approach the subject with humility and respect, uncovering hidden truths and giving voice to forgotten stories. Their work is a slow unfolding, like petals revealing their delicate beauty under the first light of dawn. Imagine the quiet concentration, the turning of fragile pages, the careful notation of each discovery. Breathe with the calm focus of this unfolding knowledge, letting it settle gently within you. Artistic expressions also bloom. Paintings, poetry, music, which attribute to endurance and memory. A haunting melody might drift through a quiet room, its notes soft and lingering like a whisper, carried on the breeze. Imagine hearing that melody now, gentle and soothing, your breath flowing in time with its ebb and flow, a lullaby for the soul. The legacy of the Great Leap Forward teaches us about the strength found in compassion, the courage in endurance, and the quiet power of remembering. Let your breath become the steady rhythm of this truth, calming your heart, soothing your mind. As you rest here in this tranquil moment, know that you carry the story within you, a gentle light glowing softly in the quiet night. In the years following the Great Leap Forward, the landscape of memory became a quiet field where stories grew like wildflowers, sometimes vibrant, sometimes hidden beneath the grass, but always present. Families carried these stories softly in their hearts, passed down through whispered words and silent glances. Imagine an old photograph album resting on a wooden table, its pages worn and edges curled from decades of gentle handling. Each image is a portal, a glimpse into moments of both hardship and hope, faces marked by time yet shining with quiet resilience. Feel your breath deepen as you turn those pages in your mind, the soft rustle of paper mingling with the distant call of birds settling in for the night. In remote villages, traditions shaped by survival emerged, rituals of gratitude, of remembrance, of cautious celebration. These practices were not grand or loud, but intimate, like the gentle flicker of candlelight in a darkened room. Visualize a family gathered quietly around an altar, their hands folded in respect, soft prayers rising like smoke curling toward the ceiling. The room hums with a peaceful stillness, your breath slow and steady, grounding you in this sacred moment. Across generations, the legacy of those times influenced how people cared for one another, through shared meals, through the quiet tending of gardens, through the careful preservation of seeds and stories alike. Picture a garden at dawn, dew sparkling on leaves, earth soft beneath bare feet. The act of planting becomes a prayer, a promise, a hope for the future. Your breath matches the rhythm of the earth's quiet awakening, steady, calm, full of gentle light, full of... In cities, the echoes of the past mingle with the hum of modern life. Younger generations balance rapid change with the weight of inherited memory, seeking to understand the roots from which they grow. Imagine a young person standing on a bustling street, pausing for a moment to close their eyes and listen, to the distant murmur of history beneath the noise, to the soft pulse of a memory carried in their veins. Breathe with that quiet strength, steady and calm as your body sinks deeper into relaxation. Artists continue to explore this chapter of history with sensitivity, through paintings that speak in muted tones, through poems that whisper of endurance, through music that carries the weight of remembrance without heaviness. Envision a gallery filled with soft light, visitors moving slowly from one piece to the next, absorbing the stories woven into colours and shapes. The air is thick with reverence, your breath steady and deep, a gentle rhythm that echoes the beat of collective memory. Scholarship and storytelling intertwine, each enriching the other, bridging gaps between generations, cultures, and experiences. This dialogue, though sometimes quiet, is vital, a thread that holds the tapestry of history together. Imagine a circle of listeners gathered around a storyteller, their faces illuminated by firelight, eyes reflecting understanding and compassion. Your breath flows in harmony with theirs, a shared heartbeat of connection. The story of the Great Leap Forward is not only one of hardship, but also of quiet courage, of love that endured in the smallest acts, and of remembrance that blooms like a fragile flower in the night. As you rest here, feel that courage and love wrapping around you like a warm shawl, your breath calm and even, your body heavy with peace. After the storm of the Great Leap Forward, the land itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting for renewal. Seasons turned, years passed, and slowly the earth healed in ways both visible and unseen. Imagine standing in a field where new shoots break through the soil, tender and green. The breeze stirs gently, rustling the leaves with a whisper of hope. Your breath slows to match the quiet rhythm of this growing life, steady and calm. Within families, the legacy of those years found expression in stories told with tenderness, often shared at twilight when the world grows soft and shadows lengthen. Picture a parent sitting beside a child, their voice low and soothing, recounting memories that hold both sorrow and strength. The child listens, eyes wide, heart open, as the stories fold into the quiet night. Your breath deepens alongside theirs, the steady rise and fall a lullaby of connection and understanding. Communities carried these memories in traditions. Simple acts like planting certain crops, preparing dishes with care, or lighting candles on special days. These rituals formed threads that connected past to present, weaving a fabric of resilience and remembrance. Visualize a small gathering under a sky painted with stars, the air cool and fragrant. Hands join in a circle, a soft murmur of prayers and songs flowing through the night air. Feel your breath join this gentle chorus, calm and even, carrying peace through your body. Artists and writers continue to explore this history, crafting works that speak softly but powerfully. Through their creations, the past finds new life, shaped not by harshness, but by empathy and reflection. Imagine standing in a quiet gallery where each piece invites you to pause, to reflect, to feel. The soft glow of lights, the muted colours, the gentle textures, all weave a tapestry of remembrance. Your breath flows with the calm of that space, steady and unhurried. Scholars and storytellers work side by side, piecing together fragments of history with care and respect. Their efforts create bridges between generations, allowing truths to surface gently, like dawn's first light filtering through mist. Picture a study room bathed in soft light, the rustle of pages, the quiet tapping of keys, a dance of knowledge unfolding slowly. Breathe with the quiet focus of this discovery, letting it settle softly within you. The story of the Great Leap Forward reminds us that even in the darkest times, there is light, found in acts of kindness, in the strength of community, in the enduring human spirit. As you rest here, let that light warm your heart, your breath steady and deep, your body relaxed and at peace. The years following the Great Leap Forward were a time of quiet rebuilding, both of land and of spirit. In villages and cities alike, people found ways to nurture growth from the fragile soil of their experiences. Imagine a small garden bursting with new life. The first blooms of spring unfolding slowly, petals soft and delicate under the warming sun. The air carries the sweet scent of blossoms mingling with the earth's rich aroma. Your breath aligns with this peaceful scene, steady and calm as you imagine tending this garden with gentle hands. Within families, the memory of those years is kept alive through stories told at dusk, passed like precious heirlooms from one generation to the next. These narratives carry lessons of endurance, compassion, and the quiet power of hope. Picture a grandmother rocking slowly in a wooden chair, her voice a soft melody weaving through the twilight. Children listen, their eyes wide with wonder and understanding, hearts opening to the strength in these tales. Your breath flows gently alongside theirs, deepening into a calm rhythm, your body settling fully into stillness. In the broader culture, art continues to serve as a vessel for remembrance and healing. Paintings, music, and poetry inspired by those times reach across the years, inviting reflection and connection. Envision a concert hall bathed in warm light, where a haunting melody rises and falls like the tide. Each note carries the weight of history, yet lifts the spirit with its beauty. Feel your breath move in harmony with the music's gentle ebb and flow, a lullaby for the soul. Scholars and storytellers continue their patient work, piecing together the mosaic of the past with care and reverence. Their discoveries illuminate the complexities of history, allowing space for empathy and growth. Imagine a quiet study, the soft glow of a lamp, the gentle turning of pages, the the focused silence of minds seeking truth. Breathe with the steady calm of this pursuit, letting it nurture a sense of peace within you. The story of the Great Leap Forward is ultimately one of resilience, the quiet strength found in human connection, the power of memory to heal, and the enduring light of hope. As you rest here in this tranquil space, let these truths wash over you like a soothing tide, your breath slow and steady, your body heavy and relaxed. In the wake of the Great Leap Forward, the land itself seemed to whisper stories of renewal and quiet hope. Fields once parched and bare began to stir with life again, each seed a promise carried on the breath of the wind. Imagine yourself walking through a meadow where wildflowers bloom in gentle clusters, their colours muted in the fading light. The air is cool and fragrant, filled with the soft hum of insects settling in for the night. Your breath matches the slow rhythm of this peaceful scene, steady and calm, your body melting into stillness. Within the hearts of families, memories passed quietly from one generation to the next like cherished songs sung softly at dusk. These stories carry the weight of sorrow, but also the light of resilience and love. Picture a circle of family gathered under a spreading tree, the sky a deepening canvas of stars. A voice rises softly, telling tales woven with kindness and courage, each word a thread stitching past to present. Feel your breath deepen alongside theirs, a gentle tide flowing through the calm night. Artists continue to explore these themes, crafting works that invite reflection and healing. A painting may capture the subtle play of light on worn hands, a poem may trace the arc of hope across hardship, music may rise like a quiet prayer. Envision a quiet room where these creations hang, each piece a gentle invitation to pause, to feel, to remember. Your breath flows in harmony with this calm space, steady and unhurried. Scholars and storytellers labour with care, piecing together fragments of history with respect and patience. Their work brings clarity and compassion, illuminating the nuances of a complex past. Imagine a dimly lit library, the scent of old books thick in the air, the gentle tapping of fingers turning pages, each discovery a quiet beacon in the unfolding narrative. Breathe with the steady calm of this gentle pursuit, letting it settle softly within you. The Great Leap Forward story is one of endurance, connection, and the quiet strength that lives in remembrance. Even as shadows linger, there is light, found in acts of kindness, in shared stories, in the enduring human spirit. As you rest here, let that light wrap around you like a warm shawl, your breath slow and steady, your body relaxed and at peace. In the gentle aftermath of the Great Leap Forward, the quiet resilience of the human spirit wove through villages and cities alike. Though the scars ran deep, so too did the threads of hope and renewal, delicate but unyielding. Imagine a humble kitchen, warmed by a crackling hearth, the soft glow casting flickering shadows on faces worn but tender. The aroma of simmering broth fills the air, mingling with the quiet murmur of voices, sharing stories and laughter, small moments of light amid the lingering dusk. Let your breath slow and deepen, matching the gentle rhythm of this peaceful scene, your body sinking further into comfort. Families gathered often in these quiet spaces to remember, to heal and to teach. Elders spoke softly of the past, weaving lessons of endurance and love, while children listened with wide, curious eyes, hearts open to the wisdom carried in those gentle words. Picture a circle of loved ones seated beneath a paper lantern's warm glow, the night outside wrapped in silence. The stories shared here are like soft threads, stitching a tapestry of connection across generations. Feel your breath flow in harmony with this tender exchange, a steady, calming wave washing through your being. Across the country, gardens blossomed anew, as hands once weary found strength to nurture the earth again. Seeds planted with care pushed through the soil, promising life and sustenance, a quiet testament to perseverance. Visualize yourself tending such a garden at dawn, the first light casting a golden hue over dew-kissed leaves. The earth smells rich and alive, and the gentle hum of morning fills the air. Your breath flows steady, a soft anchor, grounding you in this moment of renewal. Artists and writers embrace these themes with grace and sensitivity, capturing the nuances of memory and healing through their work. Paintings spoke in soft hues, Poems traced delicate lines of hope, and music carried the gentle pulse of remembrance. Imagine a quiet gallery filled with these creations, the air thick with reverence and reflection. Each piece invites you to pause and breathe deeply, to connect with the shared humanity woven through time. Breathe with the calm of this sacred space, your body heavy with peace. Scholars and storytellers continue their patient work, piecing together fragments of history with care and respect. Their efforts shine light on hidden stories, creating pathways toward understanding and compassion. Picture a study bathed in soft light, books open and notes carefully written, minds focused on unraveling truths with gentle persistence. Let your breath settle into the quiet focus of this pursuit, allowing peace to grow within you. The legacy of the Great Leap Forward is a testament to resilience and connection, a quiet reminder of the strength found in compassion and memory. As you rest here, feel that strength wrap around you like a warm embrace, your breath steady and slow, your body completely relaxed. In the years following the Great Leap Forward, communities learned to hold space for both sorrow and healing. The silence left by loss was often filled with quiet acts of care, sharing what little food was available, tending to neighbours with gentle hands, and preserving memories through stories and songs. Imagine a small village courtyard at dusk where lanterns glow softly, casting warm circles of light. The air is filled with the faint scent of jasmine, and the hum of evening insects blends with low voices sharing tales passed through generations. Feel your breath slow and deepen as you picture this scene, each inhale a soft wave of calm, each exhale releasing tension and inviting peace. Within homes, photographs and keepsakes serve as touchstones, reminders of those who endured and those who were lost. These objects carry a quiet power, anchoring memories and inviting reflection. Visualize an old wooden chest, its surface worn smooth by years of gentle handling. Inside lie letters, faded and fragile, a delicate bridge connecting past to present. Let your breath flow steady and calm as you imagine running your fingers softly over these treasured mementos, feeling the weight of history held tenderly. Artists continue to give voice to this chapter through subtle, evocative works, paintings capturing the interplay of light and shadow, poems tracing the contours of loss and hope, melodies rising like soft prayers. Imagine sitting in a quiet theatre, the gentle hush of anticipation, as a haunting melody fills the space, each note a thread weaving connection between hearts and memories. Your breath moves with the music's gentle rise and fall, steady and soothing, a lullaby for the soul. Scholars and historians persist in their thoughtful exploration, piecing together the mosaic of this era with care and humility. Their work fosters understanding and empathy, opening paths toward reconciliation and growth. Picture a cozy study lined with books, where gentle light spills over pages marked with careful notes. The quiet scratch of pen on paper blends with the steady rhythm of breathing, creating a space of peaceful inquiry. Breathe deeply with this calm focus, allowing the serenity to fill you from head to toe. The story of the Great Leap Forward reminds us of the enduring power of compassion, the resilience of memory, and the quiet strength found in connection. As you rest here now, feel that strength wrap around you like a soft, warm blanket, your breath slow and steady, your body relaxed and serene. In the quiet decades after the Great Leap Forward, the threads of memory wove themselves gently into the fabric of everyday life. Though the pain lingered, so too did the quiet hope of renewal and the strength found in small acts of kindness. Imagine a small family home nestled beneath towering pines, the evening air cool and fragrant with pine needles. Inside, soft light spills from paper lanterns, illuminating faces lined with stories of endurance and love. Feel your breath slow as you picture this scene, each inhale carrying the scent of earth and wood, each exhale releasing tension and inviting peace. Across fields and mountains, people nurtured the land and their communities with steady hands and patient hearts. Planting, harvesting, caring, these acts became a quiet prayer for the future. Visualize a farmer's hands cradling freshly turned soil, rich and dark, beneath a sky painted with the soft hues of dawn. The world feels still and full of promise, your breath steady and calm as you imagine this gentle scene. In towns and cities, the legacy of those years found expression in art and remembrance. pain and hope intertwined in brushstrokes and verses, melodies and sculptures, creating spaces where healing could unfold. Imagine walking slowly through a quiet museum, the soft footsteps echoing on polished floors. Each artwork invites reflection, each story a gentle embrace. Your breath flows with the calm rhythm of this space, steady and unhurried. Scholars and storytellers continue to bring light to this complex chapter, their patient work illuminating the many layers of history. Through their efforts, understanding deepens, compassion grows. Picture a study bathed in warm lamplight, the quiet turning of pages blending with the soft scratching of pen on paper. The room hums with quiet focus and gentle discovery. Breathe deeply with this steady calm, letting it fill you with peace. The Great Leap Forward story is one of enduring resilience, the quiet strength of memory, and the lasting power of human connection. As you rest here now, let these truths surround you like a soft, comforting shawl, your breath slow and steady, your body completely at ease. The years that followed the Great Leap Forward were a time of quiet reflection and slow renewal. Across villages and cities, people learned to carry their memories with tenderness, weaving the past into the fabric of their daily lives. Imagine a small village nestled between rolling hills where this morning mist drifts gently over fields of green. The soft chirping of birds fills the air, and the scent of damp earth rises with the dawn. Your breath deepens as you picture this serene scene, each inhale a fresh breeze, each exhale a release of tension. Within homes, families gather around simple meals, sharing stories that speak of endurance and hope. The gentle glow of lantern light softens the edges of the room, creating a cocoon of warmth and safety. Visualize a family seated together, their faces calm and peaceful, voices low and soothing as they recount tales passed down through generations. Feel your breath flow steadily with theirs, a quiet rhythm that anchors you in the present moment. In the world of art, creators continue to explore this chapter with sensitivity and grace. Paintings, poems, and the melodies capture the delicate balance between sorrow and resilience, inviting contemplation and healing. Imagine standing in a quiet gallery, the soft hum of whispered appreciation filling the space. Each piece speaks in gentle tones, a quiet invitation to pause and reflect. Your breath moves in harmony with this calm atmosphere, steady and unhurried. Scholars and historians persist in their careful work, piecing together fragments of the past to build a fuller understanding. Their efforts open pathways to empathy, fostering connection across time and experience. Picture a study bathed in soft lamplight, books and notes spread across a wooden table. The quiet scratch of pen on paper is a soothing backdrop to thoughtful exploration. Breathe deeply with this gentle focus, letting it nurture a sense of peace within you. The story of the Great Leap Forward is one of endurance, compassion, and the quiet power of remembrance. As you rest here now, let these truths enfold you like a warm blanket, your breath slow and steady, your body fully relaxed. In the years following the Great Leap Forward, the land and its people began a slow dance of recovery. Each season brought new growth, both in fields and in hearts, as resilience quietly bloomed. Imagine walking through a field of tall grass, the blades swaying softly in the evening breeze. The sky is painted in hues of lavender and gold, and the air carries the faint scent of wildflowers and fresh earth. Feel your breath deepen as you imagine this peaceful scene, steady and calm, your body melting into relaxation. Within families, the past is remembered through gentle stories told by candlelight, moments of shared silence, and quiet acts of care that honour those who endured. Picture a warm room where loved ones gather, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of a flickering flame. The air is filled with the gentle murmur of voices and the comforting scent of jasmine tea. Let your breath flow in rhythm with this tender scene, slow and even, a soothing lullaby for your spirit. Artists continue to give voice to this history with grace and sensitivity, creating works that invite reflection and healing. Paintings speak in soft colours, poems trace delicate lines of hope, and music rises like a gentle prayer. Imagine sitting in a quiet concert hall, the gentle notes of a cello weaving through the stillness, carrying stories of sorrow and strength. Your breath moves smilingly with the music's ebb and flow, steady and calming. Scholars and storytellers persist in their patient efforts, illuminating the complexities of this chapter with empathy and care. Their work bridges the past and present, fostering understanding and compassion. Visualize a library bathed in warm light, where the soft turning of pages and quiet conversations create a sanctuary of knowledge and reflection. Breathe deeply with this calm focus, allowing it to fill you with peace. The Great Leap Forward story is one of enduring strength, the quiet power of memory, and the lasting bonds of human connection. As you rest here now, let these truths wrap around you like a soft, comforting shawl, your breath slow and steady, your body fully at ease. In the years that followed the Great Leap Forward, the quiet resilience of communities blossomed quietly, like shoots breaking through hardened earth. Though the memories carried a weight, they also held seeds of renewal and growth. Imagine a quiet village waking at dawn, soft, golden light spilling over rooftops, the air crisp with the promise of a new day. The gentle rustle of leaves and the distant song of birds create a peaceful symphony. Feel your breath align with the calm rhythm of this scene, steady and smooth, your body sinking further into relaxation. Families gather to share meals and stories, their voices low and comforting, weaving a tapestry of connection that spans generations. The flicker of candlelight casts warm shadows, softening the edges of the room. Visualize a circle of loved ones, their faces calm and serene, as they pass stories of endurance and love, each word a gentle thread stitching past to present. Let your breath flow steadily with theirs, a quiet wave of calm enveloping you. Across fields and hills, hands tend the earth with care, nurturing life anew. The scent of fresh soil and blooming flowers fills the air, a fragrant reminder of nature's quiet cycles of loss and renewal. Picture yourself kneeling in a garden, feeling the rich earth between your fingers as you plant seeds with patient hope. The soft hum of bees and the gentle breeze surround you in a cocoon of peace. Your breath deepens in harmony with this scene, steady and calm. Artists continue to explore the delicate balance of sorrow and hope through gentle brushstrokes, tender verses, and melodies that rise like soft prayers. Their creations invite reflection and healing, offering spaces of quiet contemplation. Imagine walking through a gallery filled with such works, the soft murmur of appreciation blending with the gentle rustle of pages from a nearby book. Breathe slowly and deeply as you take in this peaceful atmosphere, letting the calm wash over you. Scholars and storytellers persist in their careful work, piecing together the many layers of this complex history with empathy and grace. Their efforts create bridges of understanding that reach across time. Visualize a cozy study bathed in warm light, books open and notes carefully arranged. The soft scratch of pen on paper is a comforting rhythm in the quiet room. Let your breath settle into this gentle rhythm, filling you with calm and clarity. The story of the Great Leap Forward is one of enduring resilience, the quiet power of memory, and the strength found in connection and compassion. As you rest here now, feel these truths wrap around you like a soft blanket, your breath slow and steady, your body fully relaxed. In the years following the Great Leap Forward, communities nurtured the fragile shoots of renewal with tender hands and patient hearts. Though the shadows of the past lingered, the promise of growth and healing softly illuminated the way forward. Imagine walking through a tranquil village at dawn, where the first light filters through mist, soft and golden. The gentle song of birds blends with the distant murmur of a flowing stream. Feel your breath slow and deepen, matching the steady calm of this scene, your body relaxed and grounded. Families gather in humble homes, sharing quiet meals and stories that carry the weight of memory and the light of resilience. The flicker of lantern light casts warm, dancing shadows on faces lined with endurance. Picture a group of loved ones seated together, voices low and soothing, weaving tales of hope that bind past to present. Let your breath flow gently with theirs, a steady wave of calm that washes over you. Across the fields and hills, hands tend the earth with care, coaxing life from the soil once more. The scent of fresh grass and blooming flowers fills the air, a fragrant testament to nature's quiet cycles. Visualize yourself planting seeds in a sun-warmed garden, the earth rich and soft beneath your fingers. A gentle breeze stirs the leaves overhead, carrying the promise of new beginnings. Your breath deepens in harmony with this peaceful moment, steady and calm. Artists continue to explore the delicate dance of sorrow and hope through soft brushstrokes, tender poems, and melodies that rise like gentle prayers. Their creations invite reflection, healing, and quiet connection. Imagine wandering through a serene gallery, the soft murmur of appreciation mingling with the gentle rustle of turning pages in a nearby book. Breathe deeply as you soak in this tranquil space, letting the calm fill your body and mind. Scholars and storytellers work patiently, piecing together the many layers of history with empathy and care. Their efforts open pathways to understanding, compassion, and growth. Visualize a cozy study bathed in warm lamplight, books and notes carefully arranged. The soft scratch of pen on paper creates a soothing rhythm in the quiet room. Let your breath settle into this gentle rhythm, filling you with peace and clarity. The Great Leap Forward story is one of enduring strength, the quiet power of memory, and the lasting bonds of human connection. As you rest here now, feel these truths enfold you like a soft, comforting shawl. Your breath slow and steady, your body completely at ease. In the years after the Great Leap Forward, the land and its people began a patient dance of renewal. Each day brought new growth, both in fields and in hearts, as strength quietly blossomed. Imagine walking through a meadow bathed in the soft glow of morning light, where wildflowers sway gently in the breeze. The air is fresh and filled with the subtle scent of earth and dew. Feel your breath slow and deepen, matching the peaceful rhythm of this scene, your body sinking further into relaxation. Families gathered around simple meals, sharing stories that carried the weight of endurance and the promise of tomorrow. The warm glow of lantern light softened the edges of the room, creating a haven of comfort. Visualize a circle of loved ones, their faces serene, voices low and soothing, as they weave tales of love and resilience, each word a thread binding past to present. Let your breath flow steadily with theirs, a quiet wave of calm enveloping you. Across the hills and valleys, hands tended the earth with care, nurturing life anew. The scent of fresh soil and blooming blossoms filled the air, a fragrant reminder of nature's cycles of loss and renewal. Picture yourself kneeling in a garden, feeling the rich earth between your fingers as you plant seeds with gentle hope. The soft hum of bees and the rustle of leaves surround you in a cocoon of peace. Your breath deepens in harmony with this scene, steady and calm. Artists continue to explore the delicate balance of sorrow and hope through soft brushstrokes, tender verses, and melodies rising like gentle prayers. Their work invites quiet reflection and healing. Imagine walking through a gallery filled with these creations, the soft murmur of appreciation blending with the gentle rustle of pages from a nearby book. Breathe slowly and deeply as you take in this serene atmosphere, letting the calm wash over you. Scholars and storytellers persist in their careful work, piecing together the many layers of this complex history with empathy and grace. Their efforts build bridges of understanding that span time. Visualize a cozy study bathed in warm lamplight, books open and notes carefully arranged. The soft scratch of pen on paper creates a comforting rhythm in the quiet room. Let your breath settle into this gentle rhythm, filling you with peace and clarity. The story of the Great Leap Forward is one of enduring resilience, the quiet power of memory, and the strength found in connection and compassion. As you rest here now, feel these truths wrap around you like a soft, comforting blanket. Your breath slow and steady, your body fully relaxed. This chapter we have shared is one of both sorrow and resilience, a story of enduring strength, compassion, and the quiet hope that lives within the human spirit. Just as day gracefully yields to night, so too did hardship give way to healing and peace. Imagine a silent garden where soft droplets of rain fall lightly onto the earth, each one a symbol of renewal and new beginnings. The air carries the delicate scent of blooming flowers, and the branches above whisper gently in the breeze, telling tales of life's endless flow. Feel your breath slow and deepen, harmonizing with this serene scene, each inhale filling you with calm, each exhale releasing any tension. Time has taught us to mend wounds gently, and memories that once brought pain now rest softly in our hearts with respect and tenderness. Families share these stories in hushed, loving voices, passing on lessons of endurance and hope through generations. Picture yourself holding a delicate dried flower in your hand, fragile yet beautiful, like a treasured token of the past. Your breath follows its quiet rhythm, slow and peaceful, a perfect part of life's cycle. Gradually, your body sinks further into relaxation, every muscle, every fibre dissolving into a sea of calm. Your eyelids grow heavy, but inside a gentle light glows, a light of hope, love, and lasting peace. This story showing us how even in the hardest times the human heart can hold kindness, courage, and patience now gently closes here. Rest now in this calm knowing, wrapped in the soft warmth of peace. As you dwell in this deep relaxation, slowly bring your breathing back to a comfortable rhythm, carrying this calm with you. Remember, you can always return to this peaceful light whenever you wish. Thank you for sharing this journey with me, and may your nights be filled with gentle rest and peaceful dreams. Good night, dear.